What's up, guys? It's Angela, and I am here to do my Pretty Little Liars recap of Season 6, Episode 1, called Game on Charles. And first of all, I just want to say how absolutely devastated I am that there is no chance for Ezra to be Charles now after watching that. Even if the writers say he's Charles, I'm going to be pissed because it's not going to make any sense to me whatsoever. Second thing, I do look tanner because I'm recording on my computer so I can get this video up because I had to watch the episode late and it's already 11:30, so what are you going to do? But I kind of like looking tanner in my videos. It's such a nice change. But let's get right on into all the juicy stuff that happened in this episode. So the girls are still in the dollhouse, obviously, and they have been locked out. They're outside for days. And then comes the thing that Janelle Parrish said in her interview, that we would get a familiar scene from a different angle. And it's talking about the girl in the yellow top inside the dollhouse that sees the liars rushing past and just sits there. She doesn't even try and escape. She just chills in the dollhouse like, what's going on? What are you doing? Get out of there as fast as you can. And then Spencer is, I'm sorry, I'm checking on Twitter because I've been tweeting with Danny about this episode. So Spencer is telling the girls that Charles felt familiar, like a pen pal or a cousin or somebody she grew up with. So then another suspect comes to mind that could possibly be eliminated, and that's Ren. But then again, I would also think she would feel some sort of familiarity with him. So he's not out of the woods quite yet, which, yeah, we get one major suspect eliminated only to keep him on the board, and I am not happy about that because you guys all know that I do not want Charles to be Ren. Alright, so let me just consult my notes. I don't really want to talk and give you a full recap. I want to talk more about my thoughts and stuff on this episode. So Charles grabs Mona when they all go back into the dollhouse to punish her for what she did. And the girls wake up in a morgue and they're naked under the sheets. So who did this? Was this the blonde girl, or was this Mona, or was this sick bastard Charles? I don't even know. This was just wrong on so many levels. I was like, what the hell? But one of the girls, Spencer, thinks that Charles wanted them to look dead for their families so their families would stop looking for them. All right, Charles has got some brains. I'll give him that. Let's see what else. Mona comes in and tells the girls to stop calling her Alison stop calling her Mona because Charles is working on her yet again and punishing her for what she did. And then the alarm goes off and a voice comes over saying, please return to your rooms and find your surprises. And Mona said, we have to go back to our rooms now, or, he'll put us in the hole for however long. He'll come in and take us and put us in this hole. So all the girls go into their rooms, and that's when we hear this awful screaming coming from Spencer, and I think I heard Arya as well. And then it's 3 weeks later, and Allie is giving her press conference. So we found out that Andrew is the prime suspect in this kidnapping, which I'm just like, let's get the fuck real here. This is not good. I don't care. I know I just dropped an F-bomb, and I do not care because Andrew being A is the biggest crock of shit ever. If he is A, I'm going to be so pissed that I wasted all this time and effort trying to figure out who A was, only to have it make no logical sense. I mean, sure, there is the clue for Andrew in Season 3, Episode 1, when the new A takes over, presumably Charles takes over from Mona, which is the first text the girls get is, show me your boobs, A. And as we all remember, Spencer was playing a game of strip poker with Andrew, and she did not take her bra off, so that could be a reference to that, but I'm just not happy with Andrew being A, and I don't think you guys would be either. If any of you is happy with Andrew being A, let me know why down below, because it's baffling to me. So Allie is dropping all these clues about the kissing rock in her press conference. I watched the sneak peek, so I knew, what that was. And when I watched the sneak peek, my immediate reaction was, is she dropping clues to the kissing rock? Well, it turns out that she is, because her, Toby, Caleb, and Ezra are all working together to find the girls, and I just love this foursome so much. And it is a plan to get Andrew to the kissing rock so they can track where the girls are. Even the best laid plans on Pretty Little Liars go awry, as we will find out in a little bit. Allie, like I said, is going to be used as bait, but this time it's the cops that want to use her as bait by luring Andrew out, and she seems okay with it, but then they get a call that is playing a song, and the police trace it to somewhere in the house. Before I knew what was going on, I was like, Jason, it's Jason, it has to be Jason, but it wasn't Jason. It was Allie, Toby, and Ezra, and Caleb. They were planting all this stuff to get the cops to go to the apple orchard that was owned by the Campbell family, trying to get Allie out of the house so they could, run off and find the girls on their own, because the cops are morons. Really, what reason do we have to suspect Andrew? Come on. Back in the dollhouse, we get a brief clip of this mysterious blonde slipping through to Spencer, and Spencer's like, Mona, is that you? And she runs away when all the girls start screaming. Whatever, girl. Okay, so we're back. Like I said, we're still in the dollhouse, and we go to the voiceover saying, proceed to Alison's room and prepare for arrival. So they get to Allie's room, and all the stuff from her actual room is in the dollhouse. Hannah asked the girls if they were forced to sign this card for Allie as well, and they realize that Charles is trying to get Allie to come there. They see a newspaper article about their families, and Hannah is devastated because her mom is physically ill and had to go to the hospital. And I left out this major part when they all meet up. Every one of them looks shaken. They all look like they did on the night Allie went missing, except Hannah, who could have easily gotten a fat suit for, but they didn't. So what was going on there? Could Hannah have some involvement with Charles? Could he be protecting her? I don't understand why she didn't get a fat suit, especially if they dyed Arya's hair, for crying out loud. But they don't want to talk about what happened to them. They're shaken up, devastated, and Spencer's like, I don't even think I can form the words. I have a theory what happened to them, but we'll talk about that at the end of the episode because it came into play during the previews for next week. Spencer is going through the box. They're all going through the boxes in Allie's room, and Spencer sees this little boat with the CD engraved on it, the initial CD. And it kind of seemed like she wanted to hide it from the girls. What did you guys think? Is she playing a game of her own? Then Arya goes to the closet and is flipping through the 40,000 yellow tops like they don't have access to a washing machine. And she sees on the back of the wall, he's going to kill me, M. And she wants Spencer to come over. I think it's because she's the smartest and, wanted to show her what was going on. But Spencer seemed really hesitant to go over there. She's like, oh, ask Hannah. Or he's like, no, it has to be you. I don't know what's going on there. Did anybody else notice when the cops were going through the footage from the press conference that the same news announcer was at Radley doing a story on how the doors were closing, how somebody had bought Radley? What are you going to do with all the mental patients? Oh, Go, be free, run. I mean, if Eddie Lamb were still around, this definitely would not be happening. Radley is into some major shenanigans. But why is Radley closing? We know that all roads lead back to Radley. So what's going to happen? Like, did Charles buy Radley? Because Charles has enough money to build a frickin' dollhouse in the middle of nowhere. I think that maybe Radley fell into the wrong hands. Tanner tells Toby that he definitely better not be holding anything back, and she stumbles across the diary in Andrew's things, and I screen grabbed it, so I'm going to read what it said. Let's see. It said, it's people like them, people like Arya with her aloof doe eyes, and Spencer that smug, overachieving, know-nothing, know-it-all, and Hannah and Emily that are the root cause of all that is bad in this world. They like games, well, so do I. I fantasize about watching them scream, about watching what it takes to make them turn on each other. It's not that I hate them, I don't. They aren't evil. They just play everyone like they're game pieces, like pawns. I'm no pawn, and they can't play me. So this is very interesting, and it is going to be brought back up in what I think that happened to these girls at the end of this little recap. All right. Allie goes to the Kissing Rock to try and track A, and the song Walking After Midnight is playing. Another freaking reference to Ren, because I can't find anything else with that song. And she gets in the car, and it leads her to Tyler Park, where the car conveniently runs out of gas. Charles really does think of everything, and she tries to call OnStar. What's OnStar? She tries to call OnStar, but the voice says, everything you need's in the trunk, Alison, in like creepy voice. And I'm like, ooh, okay, is that actually the voice of Charles or just some random actor? And she goes to the trunk, and there are the clothes from the night she went missing. She has to take everything off or her friends die. So Allie, being the clever girl she is, points her shoes in the direction that she went because she knows Caleb and Ezra are hot on her heels, and they will be able to track her if she at least gives them a little bit of a lead. Pictunia is back in this episode, and they figure out that Charles has sent all of their stuff from their rooms to the dollhouse. I think they're in Hannah's room, and she has an Etch-a-Sketch, and Spencer is, saying how good she was with Etch-a-Sketch when she was younger. And she writes on it that Charles is a De Laurentiis, and all the girls are like, oh, what? Shocker. Yeah. You've had the anagram for as long as we have as viewers, and you still haven't freaking solved it, but they do. They're like, oh, all of it. Chandelier's ritual, a ruler's list chain, blah, blah, blah. All spells Charles De Laurentiis. Well, no shit. Mona is in the well, and she's not doing well. She's singing Hush Little Baby to, I guess, keep her calm. I don't know. It's not working, whatever she's doing. Okay. The cops get a lead to Tyler State Park, so they follow that up from the partial of Andrew's license plate. While they were doing the press conference with Allie, they see a figure that looks like Andrew, and nobody stopped him, said anything. It's just a little while later that they're like, oh, that could have been Andrew. That looks like Andrew. Let's go see what he's doing. Yeah, you see what I mean? The cops are morons. Where am I? The girls are trying to get into the vault so they can bargain their way out of the dollhouse, thinking that there's something really valuable in there, and Spencer said there has to be a hidden way in when all the alarms start going off, but they still find a way in. And they start watching the video. Only Spencer has seen it, I think. Mona might have, I don't know. But they watch the video, and they then set to work torching the vault because they're not having it anymore. They discover that the video is his most prized possession, and they just start going crazy. They light this huge fire in the vault at the same time that Allie is approaching the property. She is on the property, and Charles is like, okay, what do I do here? Do I go with the thing that I value most, which is my memories, or do I go with my obsession, which is Alison? And I think it really speaks volumes that he went with his memories. Like, what could be more important than this girl that he's been fascinated or obsessed with, rather, for years? You know what I mean? Because, yes, he is obsessed with Allie, but for him to have set that all aside and go after these few little things show that the root cause of this can be found in those things and not in Allie. Like, I think he is searching for some sort of acceptance or trying to hold on to these memories as best as he can because he doesn't have anything else. He has no friends, he has no family, and he needs this, but it gets destroyed anyway. And while that happens, he decides he's going to pull the fire alarm. So the sprinklers come on, and the girls are able to get out and run straight into the arms of an anxiously awaiting Alison, Caleb, and Ezra, who have managed to approach Alison in the woods due to her awesome shoe trail. As this is going on, we also see that this blonde girl hasn't moved an inch. Like, that's just so weird to me. Why are you not, like, obviously Charles has her conditioned. It's just really, really, really saying something to me. And then the cops show up and Toby runs over to Spencer, who's still acting a little creepy, and she says, oh, Charles is, and Spencer cuts her off, and he's like, yeah, we know it's Andrew, baby. I was like, okay. I love Spoby. I'm a big Spoby shipper, but just hearing the baby, I was just like, that kind of sounded forced, and it was a little awkward for me. You guys need to take baby steps, but yeah, it was just a little weird. But Caleb and Hannah almost had me in tears. I'm sitting there like, oh, because I love them. Love them. Okay. Oh, the girls have also managed to get Mona. Totally forgot to throw that in there. So in case you're wondering what happened to Mona, Angela, well, yeah, the girls grabbed her from the well. I don't know how. Maybe they all got naked again and like tied their clothes together, whatever. But they were already naked in the dollhouse, so why would it matter anymore, right? Right. And the cops go into the dollhouse and they ask the girl her name because they discover there's another girl in there, and she replies with Sarah Harvey. I sat there and I really wish I would have live recorded my reaction. I was going to, and it just got a little lengthy, and I wanted to get this up first, so I didn't. But when she said that, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way you are Sarah Harvey. You're Bethany Young, so shut your mouth and stop lying to people. She's brainwashed, okay? I personally think that if there has to be two people working in that dollhouse because there's just so much going on, and I don't see how Charles could do it alone. Plus, we also see that, I'm going to call her Sarah Harvey, and don't get me wrong, I really don't think she's Sarah Harvey. She could be. She could shock me and be like, yeah, I'm really Sarah Harvey, and they could do DNA and dental records or whatever. But she had the option to get out, not one time, but two, and she didn't take it. She just sat there. We also see her feeding Spencer food and coloring on her walls. She's ticked off all these days, and she's also coloring a picture of the sun. So this says to me that this girl, whoever she is, has privileges in this dollhouse. Why would Charles send anybody else to feed the liars unless he trusts her to a certain extent not to run off? Or maybe he's punished her so much that she won't even think of running off and leaving. I just felt like she's still hiding something, and I don't know why they're choosing to focus on her over Bethany because I think Bethany is a bigger part to the story. And either Bethany or Sarah is in that grave. Okay, that's just a given. But if it is Sarah, actually Sarah in that dollhouse, why are they picking her story over Bethany's? It just is weird to me. So a lot of people are speculating about what happened to the liars in that dollhouse. And I have to give a huge shout out to my sister because we were going through the promo for next week and just pausing. And she was talking to me about this idea. There was an experiment, I think, that it was she was saying it was a German soldier experiment. So another reference to Germany for all of you who are convinced that Lucas is hay. But they would take a random person and then they would take a volunteer. And they were trying to see how well you could obey orders. And what you had to do was you had to send a shock to them. In the promo for next week, we see Arya and we see Spencer sitting at this table. And I saw pictures of the girls lined up with little buttons. So maybe the girls had to punish each other. That makes a lot of sense to me, especially if Charles is working by himself because he wouldn't have been able to control everyone. He wouldn't have been able to be in the room with everyone. So it makes sense that he kind of gave them this punishment, and maybe their relationship in 6A is just going to deteriorate completely. But I think that's what was going on. I think the girls were being forced to punish each other by shocks or whatever, by pressing this button, and something random would happen. Also, I didn't think the girls got out of the dollhouse this early. I thought it was in episode 4, so they could be daydreaming or hallucinating all that's going on here. I'm so yawny. It's weird. It's so early for me. Anyway, what else did I want to talk about? I'm trying to rack my brain. Oh yeah, that letter that I read to you. That was in Andrew's things, which I don't believe was written by Andrew. I know they have people, extras or whatever, members of the crew, write everything down, so you can't judge by handwriting. But there's no way in hell that journal was Andrew's. It's a woman's handwriting, for crying out loud. Seriously? That is not a man's handwriting. Okay. I'm reading this note. Okay, and here is the part where I think that Charles gave them the punishment to shock each other. In this journal entry, it said, I fantasize about watching them scream, about watching what it takes to make them turn on each other. So he was testing them and their breaking points to see how far he could push until they started punishing each other. So next week's episode looks pretty interesting. I'm hoping we're going to get some answers. It showed the girls in a hospital all talking about how this could be a dream and they could wake up back in a dollhouse. Ashley Marin is back and she wants to know what happened in that room. And then we get to the best part, which is Alison asking her father, who is Charles De Laurentiis? And her father said, what? And Allie's like, no, not what. Who? I was like, snap, crackle, pop, Allie. You get it, girl. Even though Mr. D is not going to say anything until season 6, episode 10, that's okay. Because, I know we're not going to get an answer until then, but that's perfectly fine with me. So what did you guys think of this episode? Did you enjoy it? I overall thought it was a really, really good episode. I am disappointed that we did not get any answers because I really feel like it's Bethany in there and not Sarah. But they could throw me for a loop and go with the obvious. I'm also just gutted that there is no way that Ezra could be A/Charles. That is just destroying me inside. And I'm running out of suspects as to who I think it could be. Obviously, it could be Ren, but I would be really pissed. It could be Jason Twin. It could be Lucas. I think all the boyfriends were rolled out through tonight's episode, though. So I think that is it for me. Let me check my Twitter to make sure I don't have any other things. I've been talking with people all night on Twitter about the finale, or about the premiere. Gosh, I'm already pushing the finale. Okay, yes, that is it, I think. If I think of anything else, I will let you guys know. Another thing, I know I said I was going to post my final verdict on who I think Charles is and who I think Black Veil is, but easily that girl in the dollhouse could be Black Veil. I mean, she has privileges, so why not say she has privileges enough to be out in public? But then she would also need to be in a place where Charles could easily control her, and he might not want to risk anyone seeing him that close to her. I don't know, though. It's weird. It could also be Cece Drake as Black Veil, or Melissa, obviously, or Ashley Marin, which I would love. But I think that in season 6A, we're going to get the answer to who Charles is, and then the rest of the time will be spent on this mystery of Black Veil. So that is it for this review. If you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, comment down below with what you thought of tonight's episode, and I would love to hear from you. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at PLLChick8811. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.